Today we're going to talk about what it's like running a business with your other half. This is not something we've discussed on the podcast before. And I know, Natalie, you've mentioned before that lots of people say to you it's not for them, but you just can't imagine doing it any differently. So I'm going to just dive in. Totally curious for the first thing in the morning, because you guys have got kids as well, haven't you? How does a day start for you? Do you start as business partners or husband and wife? And if it's husband and wife, where does that transition come in?
I actually start solo, so my gym classes are like 6 o'clock in the morning, and that's kind of how I keep my sanity throughout the day. So I start myself, and John does very kindly the getting the dressed and the nursery run and things, so that when I'm home, I'm getting dressed and getting the school run done. So I suppose it is, as a family, we start, and then it's on to the work once the kids are away.
Wow, and what's that morning like for you, John, as someone else who does the getting dressed part?
That's absolutely fine. The kids fall into line pretty well, to be honest. They're not the best of sleepers, but Emily's up and dressed for nursery pretty radically, to be honest. She's quite good.
Oh,
And
good.
Rory sometimes stays asleep until Natalie gets home for the gym, to be honest. So that's it's an easy one in the morning. Yeah, it's not bad at all. It's not manic or crazy to try and get rushed out the door and get to work. It's pretty laid back, to be honest. So yeah, it's
Good.
very
So
good.
you're not like pulling your hair out by the time Natalie gets back or anything then?
No, definitely not. No,
So very much starting the day as a family. How do you then transition your day into being business partners?
I'm not entirely sure it ever leaves you, to be honest. Like, I don't think we have, right, we're business partners between 9 and 5, and then, we have our time. We have our time with the kids, we have our time with each other. But very much, John and I met at work, so we both worked for the same construction company, and it's easier then to kind of make work and life.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have the kids then either, but it's obviously because it's our own business, it does kind of, it is your life, it does consume you, and you do talk about it at the weekends and at evenings, and the kids come along to the courts with us at the weekends as well, and they're very much involved with our clients. So I was telling you, Rory was off school, but we had a work thing that we had to go to, so he had to go with John to work for an hour yesterday. And he was in the client's house just chatting to him and asking him what he likes and stuff. So we very much do like portraying the whole family business thing, because we are one. We are building our business around our children. When I'm working, obviously, in the office and John's on site, so it's not like we're sitting sharing an office all day either. So we do have our different roles in the business as well. It's just a kind of combination of everything. We don't have specific work time as such.
You don't sort of shift modes, you're just always in either or. So you can be working, talking about the kids, who's doing what or whatever, or you can be in amongst the kids thinking, oh, did you reply to that email? Or, it's just all one.
The work environment's very laid back as well, when we're speaking about work, it's did we remember this or did we remember that, and if we have one of us have forgot, then we just deal with it there and then, it doesn't become an issue as in that's not been done or this has not been done. It's just we'll go with the flow kind of thing. So.
Brilliant. I love that. And so tell us, how did you meet then? You mentioned you met in the same construction company, so you worked together before?
Yeah, so I was in procurement and John was on site. There's a bit of an argument who chased who, but
there always is, isn't there?
That's how we met. That was
so who do you say chased who, Natalie?
I think John done the chasing.
What do you say, John?
I think that face is telling a bit of lies then. Anyway.
Was it all hard, John? Could you not get peace at your work?
It was hard to get work done, yeah. I think that's how we ended up having to leave. It was good. It was a very, it's a good time of life. It was a good company to work for. We both enjoyed it, and obviously we actually worked well together at the time. We'd done a lot of work through there was plant and stuff, a lot of plant dealings and buying materials and stuff. We worked together through. Actually, we can look back and think we actually did work well together back then, even though it wasn't for us. We both worked hard, so we both put our all into it. It went well back then as well, so I think it was an easy stepping stone to move into it together for our own business.
Brilliant. And so how did it become about that you left to do, did you leave that job to do your own business, both of you then?
John left to do the business, but I had left. I left in 2017. And then we started the business in 2022. And between that time, I had a job at Collins Aerospace, so I was procurement in there for a few years, and then I kind of took the time to have the kids and stuff. And then John left a couple of years, 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah. It was the business we were in, so the construction company were actually they were revolving a little bit with the civil side of things. So I kind of moved into the engineering department in there, and it was absolutely fine. I did like it, and I liked all the guys in there, but it kind of just posed the correct time in life because we had speaking about it for over a year, and we had started the business. So yeah, it was the right time to go and do it, and I think it worked both sides. It worked well for the construction company. They were great with me as well. So yeah, it moved into a transition pretty well.
I must have left there in 2020, and then I dabbled in a few things that turned out not for me. And then just mostly because obviously the kids, we had to structure our life around them. But I'm also not the type of person that can sit. I mean, I absolutely admire full-time mums, but I couldn't do it. I needed something for me. So that's why I dabbled in a few other things, but none of them worked. And then we spoke about starting this business because it was always something that we had spoke about, to be honest, just not brave enough to do it, I suppose. So I was away from Ayrshire for a couple of years before the business started.
So it was a total joint decision you decided to get into together then to start up Ralston's Contracts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was there any hesitations about doing it together, about working together for like your relationship?
No, I don't think
so,
it
no.
ever was a question. It was always we're in it together, I think if John had done it by himself, I would have been like, why am I not involved in that? It's always going to be a joint venture.
About that, but we get along and we get by, so it's going well.
Half
And
the
if
battle.
Natalie hadn't been involved, yeah, I would have always been asking Natalie's for her input anyway. So,
So here, and I've seen Natalie out there with her fleece on, shoveling stuff and moving stuff.
And
I have indeed. And of course, you must both bring different strengths to the business, surely. So, what would you say? It'd be great to hear from both of you. What do you think you bring to the table? What your strengths are, and how do they work well together?
Obviously, with me being site-based, I've been site-based all my life, partial office time, but mainly on site, organising guys and sequencing the works and stuff. So that's where my role lies, the organisation, the ordering, that part of it all falls on Natalie. The first instinct in dealing with the clients falls on Natalie. I then go and meet them, but from that point, the customer journey falls to Natalie, basically. So she deals with them through all sorts of contact. Unless, obviously, when I'm on site, I speak with them, I deal with them on site, with the queries, resolve, etc. Natalie deals with them, Natalie deals with any communications that way.
Brilliant.
So she's very good that way, and the organisation is something to be awarded, to be honest. It's very, very good that way, so it's very good. It makes our life on site easier if we know the organisation's behind us. That's a big one for us, to be honest.
Brilliant. And Natalie, what would you say? Would you agree with that that's where your strengths lie?
It's where my strengths lie, and it's very much a day-to-day part of the business. However, future plans, I really, really like the development side of the business. So doing all the planning and the cash flows and the business plans for new ideas, different avenues, all the SWOT analyses and things. That's what I like doing. And I am very much a person that, John will tell you there's been several times that I've had ideas and I've went with it and it's not worked out. But obviously it's one of these things you need to try. But John is very good at keeping me a level-headed to say, John, a minute, because I'm very much, let's do this. But John's very a laid-back person, so he's like, let's just think about this first. So it works well that way as well.
Brilliant. It does sound like the perfect balance. And you think, John, if it wasn't for Natalie doing like stuff like this, like podcasts and building the website and out there maybe generating new work and whatever, would you have to hire somebody to do that anyway if that wasn't the case? Is that not for you?
The background here of things, it's as Natalie says, the development side and the keeping is, even the training of the guys and stuff, keeping all the SVQs and stuff up to date, and then they're looking forward, they're looking at the business plans, the 1 year, the 3 year, the 5 year, the 10-year business plans, like Natalie says, I'm quite laid back, so I'm I'll just I'll wing it and see what happens,
It'll all work out.
And most of the time it'll work out, but it's probably because Natalie's planned it to work out, so and that's a big part of it.
How incredible you guys have found each other, obviously fell in love and had kids and a family and whatever, and been able to build a business together as well. That's honestly fantastic. However, in relationships, any relationship, a business relationship, a personal relationship, there's disagreements, there's fallouts. How do you manage them when you're running a business together? Do you have to get a leave it at the door policy, or does it spill into home life?
You want to go?
Actually, I can honestly say we haven't had an argument about work life or personal life that's crossed over in any ways, shape or form. I think we've had a few things, like I said before, like, did you remember this? Did you remember that? And it's been like, no, I haven't. But whether you argue about it there and then, or whether you just go and deal with it, and then it's the argument, you're going to deal with it after the argument anyway. So what's the point, you know? But like we say, although I'm the laid back one, Natalie's very like it'll be what it'll be type as well, you know. Like we'll work things out. I don't think we've had something within the business that's made us fall out. In fact, I know we haven't fell out over the business. There's been nothing big enough, and I don't think there could be, to make us have an argument and shout at each other, or even fall out and storm out the door. Or, you know, I don't think it could be possible, to be honest. I think we
That's
would just
good to hear.
look. This is at the end of the day, it is a business, you know, and as people always say, well, business is business and personal is personal, which is true, but it crosses over the line with us pretty easily so far. And it's like you say, it's working pretty well. So we're going to continue that way, and that's the way we'll see it. If it gets to the point that it's going to cause arguments, then that's the point we'll probably say, why are we doing it then? You know,
Yeah.
there's absolutely there'd be no point for us if it was crossing into making us fall out, affecting my personal life or my family life. So I don't see it happening.
And I are quite similar in the way, like even in our personal life, we just don't argue. It's just not us. And I know that sounds cliche or nobody will believe us, but we genuinely don't. But it's because we're both the type of people that would rather hash it out. This is my view. This is my view. Where do we meet in the middle? Or actually, oh no, you're actually right. No, you're right. You know, we're very much adults, so we talk about it and we sort it out and then we move on. We're definitely not the type to bawl and shout at each other or no speak to each other either. There's been a couple of things in the business that John's thought is a good idea, and I'm like, well, I actually don't agree with that, but we'll go with it anyway, you know. It's just getting your point across, but coming to an agreement as well.
Perfect. Yeah, that's brilliant, isn't it? Brilliant. It sounds like it does sound like the perfect setup, absolutely. And how do the kids feel about mum and dad working together and the whole family business? Do you think they totally understand like that's something quite special? Or is it just what they've always known?
Yeah, I don't know. They know that like when they see our logo and stuff, they're always like, oh, that's mum and dad's work. But I don't know, like I think they might just be a wee bit too young to understand actually what it is. They and as well, they don't realise it at the moment, but they are very, very patient with us, you know. When we are sitting and we're like, right, watch TV for an hour while we get these quotes done, or as I say, they come to site with us at weekends to speak to clients and stuff. Although they don't realise it, they are very, very patient with us, which is obviously really good for us because it means we can actually go and push on. Even when we're getting more photography done as well there in the background, but they're quite happy just running about.
I wonder that as well with my kids, because John's employed, I'm self-employed, and you just wonder at that wee age if they totally realise that, you know, the differences there, and especially having your mum and dad work together and being part of a family business is really quite special. So I'm sure as they grow up they'll start to really realise that is something quite unique.
Yeah, because we're structuring the business around the kids. I'm there for every school drop off, I'm there for every school pick up, which they won't realise just now. But as they get older, they will kind of start to realise, like Rory's mentioned before about his friends going to after school club and things. But obviously their mums and dads need to work to whatever time, so he doesn't have that. He doesn't need to go to these things, and it's not until he's older that he'll realise the kind of meaning behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, way back before I even, you know, John and I were married or we had kids or anything like that, it was always something in my mind thinking I'd love to be self-employed to have that flexibility. So if ever I do have a family, I want to do the drop-offs and the pickups and everything, and I don't want to have to ask anybody's permission, you know, to have to take my kids to an appointment or be there or whatever. So yeah, they often see grands and pappies and whatever picking their friends up, and they've asked sometimes, how come Pappy never picks us up from school? I'm thinking because that's what I do, and I work round about you. But it means sometimes when we get in, like you say, I might need to say, give me 10 minutes, guys. I just need to wrap something up, you know. In my office room, as they call it. Yeah, so it is unique, but you just hope as they get older they're going to really admire that and realise it's something quite special. Sure they will. Sure they will as they get older. And if anyone's listening, who I think there will be, who is thinking about setting up a family business, thinking about asking their husband, wife, partner to help out or whatever, but a bit nervous about what might work out, you know, if it would have any impact on the relationship or whatever, what advice have you got for them?
I think I would just say if the relationship is strong enough, then certainly go for it. But if you're already arguing behind the scenes, or you're already disagreeing, or you're already in that point where even being nervous to approach it, that would be a red flag for me. I would be like, why am I nervous, So I think the relationship's got to be right before, because it does test you, I don't know, many times you've said, why are we doing this? Like, why are we actually doing this? Because it is trying and it is hard work, but it is so rewarding as well at the same time, because again, you get that flexibility for your kids. You're watching your brand grow as well. And that's a really good feeling as well, when you're building this team who you get to know and you care about as well. And we're now at the point we provide 3 people jobs, we employ 3 people. So that also impacts their families and their lives at home as well. So it's a good feeling. It is a good feeling.
What about you, John, for your sort of perspective, any advice you would give out to any perhaps males that are thinking of it?
No, I think it would be. I think it would be a different aspect if it was an unknown business. If somebody would jump into something that kind of, let's try this out, and it's an unknown, because then there would be a lot of stuff that would creep up and surprise. With us, we were both had a background in this industry, which I think assists us very well. Obviously I've been working on sites for a number of years now. And it's good to have the knowledge of that. So I think bringing that forward into the business assists, because if it had just been, I came out of working in a factory, and then thought, right, okay, I can do a bit of this, so let's go for it, I think we would have found it a lot harder. And obviously Natalie's background with the buying side of things, and I think both of the things link together pretty well for us, which helps us in that way. Couple or whatever going to start a business together, I think if they've got the knowledge of the business, I think it would definitely help them in a sense, rather than jumping into something that's the unknown, which would throw a lot of curveballs at them, would maybe cause friction within that business sense. Everybody's going to find things that are tough, but you just need to have the resilience for it. So, yeah, definitely go for it.
Just to touch on John's point as well, I think it works so well for us as well because we have got different experience, but combined it's strong for the business. Whereas if we both were landscapers, we would probably end up having different views, different opinions, and like, oh no, that's not how you do that, that's how you do that, So I think partnering with someone who is strong in an area that you're not is a good thing as well.
And I'm thinking about my own marriage as well with, I was going to say with John, not this John, another John. And we know our strengths. We don't particularly work well together when it comes to, like DIY or anything like that. I just feel as if John starts speaking in our language and I've got no idea what he's talking about. And then he'll get frustrated with me because I don't know what he's talking about. And I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, I feel stupid because I don't understand. I feel like he turns into a different person. So if you were saying, what you were saying, about different strengths though, so we would potentially fall into the similar sort of roles as you if we were getting into some sort of business together. John's an engineer, he's hands-on, tools, fixing things and about machines, whereas I'm more would probably take to the sort of things you enjoy, Natalie, behind the scenes and the growing the business and getting us out there, So yeah, I think that's a really good point to make actually, because if it was both of us getting into, I don't know, build flat pack furniture, let me assure you, it wouldn't end well.
IKEA's probably responsible for quite a few divorces, aren't they?
Don't, honestly.
You'll probably find that's the case. Everybody, that's a stigma behind that, and one person stands back and holds an instruction booklet and one person builds. That's probably
the instruction booklet.
simplest form. Yeah, but to be fair to Natalie, we've had times when we first started, we had one guy employed with us and we were working together and he called in sick, which is obviously it can occur. So luckily that day the kids were in nursery and Natalie's put her boots and her gloves on and came to help me.
Love it. And then on that day, Natalie, did you have to give John his place and think, this is his domain here?
Always take direction. Like I've even helped him in the garden and stuff, and I'm always labouring to him. I'm always quite happy to take his direction and take breaks when he's not looking. And
likewise, John, if you're in the sort of office side of things, that Natalie's running the show, you're happy to take direction in that department.
100%. You've got to know your place, haven't you? So it's about make decisions friends. So 100%. But like Natalie says, if I've got an opinion, I'll raise it, and then I'll obviously be shot down in flames when I'm getting told otherwise.
There's a lot of respect there, obviously, as well. Respect for what each other does, respect for what each other brings to the business, admiration for that, and happy to fall in along those boundaries and knowing each other's strengths. So it's really nice. It's really nice to hear that and know you. And of course, I've been out and spent time in your company as well, and I can feel that as well, with the kids running about and you guys working together. I've never ever felt any tension or anything like that. It's always been quite nice. You know what you are doing, you know what your roles are, and it's really nice to hear. Lovely. And before we sort of wrap up though, I'd love to do some wee quick fire, like Mr. and Mrs. questions if
Oh
you're
no.
Did you think something like this was coming?
I didn't actually. No, I would have preempted
it. Right, John, who keeps calm when the other one's stress level rises?
Probably Natalie. I like to say I'm like, but I would say Natalie in that sense. When it comes to the knuckling down, Natalie, let's look at it and write it down on a bit of paper and work it out point by point.
Would you agree, Natalie?
Yeah, I suppose I'm quite, as much as I'm a 2 feet person, I'm quite level-headed, I think. I
Good.
see things from far away.
Good. And Natalie, who's more stubborn in an argument? Not that you
Me.
have many.
I can actually be saying to John, absolutely not. There's no way that, for example, if he said, oh, remember that time we went to that shop? And I'm like, no, that wasn't me. And I could go on for like half an hour and then I'm like, oh, that was me. So yeah, definitely me.
Happy to agree with that, John.
Most definitely, yeah.
You just made me think of us when we put a movie on and John will be going, we've seen this, and I'm like, no, I've not seen this. This doesn't ring any bells at all.
You
And
never
then
watched it with me.
Never watched it with me, I know. And then about 20 minutes in, I'm thinking, oh, I think we have seen this. Aye, so could relate to that. What about when things go wrong, John? Who's more of the optimist?
Oh, definitely me. I will work it out or whatever, 100%. It's if something's not turned up or something too much turns up, I will deal with it. I'm pretty much a will deal with it type of person. So I think that one's following me. Yeah.
And I'm very much, but what if that doesn't happen? What is our plan?
And that's why you work so well together.
Yep.
Yep. And Natalie, I wonder who this would be. Who's more likely to still be working after hours, whether it's staying on a wee bit later or checking emails at night or...
I think it's both, to be honest. I don't think that's a one-sided thing. I think that's very much because it is things we need to do together, and the only time we get together is at night when the kids are happy in front of the TV for an hour or they're in their bed or we get up. Sometimes we've seen us getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to work for an hour before the day starts. So I think that's a both thing.
Is boundaries something that you struggle with? Boundaries of sort of set work times?
I don't. I am very good at maybe reading an email but not replying until the work day. But John doesn't have that filter. John replies.
What's your thoughts, John?
9 o'clock at night to clients.
Yeah, I would reply anytime. It's probably part of it. I feel it's part of my life. Why not? There is Natalie's very good at saying like there is work time we can respond within work time, and it's Saturday night, But if the clients text us or phoned us or something, I'll be like, I'll just phone them back or I'll just text them back. But because that is my life, I feel like that. So I know there is time for work and time for home, but because we do merge it pretty well, I think I'm happy to go with it, and that's what it is. But Natalie is very good at trying to switch off, to be honest. When it is time to switch off, we switch off. There's never, no phone at the table, because if I phoned at the table and there's a client texts, I would pick up and I would reply, but it's like, let's just have a dinner and we'll deal with it later.
Yeah, that's good.
Sometimes though, he has his phone on his knee. If there's football on and he's like pretending eating his dinner but actually watching the football on his phone in the knee, like, what you do?
Pretty obvious, but it's just that's me fighting back. It's like we say, if something you want to do, you're going to do it, aren't you? Yeah.
Who makes the final call in big decisions, would you say?
Definitely combines, there's no, I don't think, but again, it also falls on what part it is, the big decision, what part it is, whether is that a client we want to work for, and I think Natalie's very good at deciphering that kind of thing. I mean, timescales are falling on me because I'm programming the works, and things run on and stuff, but I think if there's any, I mean, small decisions we make together, so if we make the small decisions together, we're going to make the big ones together. It's most definitely a joint decision. There's no way one of us would make a big decision without involving the other. We wouldn't take a phone call and say yes or no without talking to each other. That would I'm not saying we know within ourselves not to do it. I just think it would be ourselves not to do it. To think, right, I'll speak to Natalie, I'll speak to John, we'll come back to you kind of thing. So I most definitely a joint combination to make any sort of decision, I think.
Do you agree with that, Natalie?
Even for the ideas that we have for developing the business, it's like, well, what do you think? Like, let's explore it a bit more, and then, right, what do you think at this stage? So it's always conferring and getting each other's opinions. So yeah, I would say it's a joint thing.
Perfect. And who's most likely to want a takeaway after a long day? Who'd be first to reach for the phone?
100% me. I would have a Chinese mostly every night probably, but we do well.
Watching the football at the table.
Yeah. Living the dream. Takeaway on the table, phone underneath it. Oh, fantastic, guys. You'll be glad to know that's it. That was just a wee bit of fun there. See if your answers married up. All of them did. These are just too good. Too good. So where can we find you guys then? Is it Ayrshire and surrounding areas that you guys cover, or all over?
We prefer to stick to Ayrshire, but that is broad. We've been away up to West Kilbride and we've been away down to Pinwarry, so it is quite broad, but I think we just kind of want to avoid the Glasgow area. We don't feel the need to kind of venture in there yet.
Okay, brilliant. So we know that you do your gardening, your landscaping, your work is phenomenal. I've witnessed it on site, I've seen all your work on your website and whatever, it's gorgeous. So where is the best place to come find you and learn more about your work if someone is looking for that in the Ayrshire area?
Our website's probably the best place to go. Social media we're not great at keeping up with. We do kind of post sometimes, but not all the time. But we are going through a kind of project just now where we're doing case studies, so they'll be uploaded to the website pretty soon, hopefully. So that will be good for potential clients to see how we've worked before.
Brilliant. And have you got a favourite job you like doing?
No, I think they all fall into the realm of it's all a cumulative aspect. Obviously, when you get to the winter months and you're digging through mud, it's not as good looking as when you're doing the nice porcelain patios and sandstone patios, but it's all part and parcel of the work we do. So
good to the bad.
I'm glad I can be happy in my work if I'm 2 feet in mud or if I'm on site with trainers on. It's all part and parcel, and we enjoy it. So probably one of the biggest things is we enjoy our work. There's nothing worse than getting out of bed in the morning thinking, oh, here goes another day. But yeah, we enjoy it, and we feel the guys that work with us enjoy it as well, and we've got a good surrounding with us. So it's enjoyable just now, so if we can keep enjoying it, then we're going to keep doing it.
And you were offering something quite unique for Christmas, is that right? You had gift vouchers available for Christmas.
Yeah, so we made gift vouchers for sleeper planters. We found them quite popular through the summer. And we thought we'll try it, just get some wee vouchers made because it's quite a unique gift to give someone. So, and it's obviously all these mums and dads, aunties and uncles who have got everything. You don't know what to get them. It's a nice wee gift for them.
So would that be coming out and building the planter in the place where you want it in your garden?
Yeah, so we've got 2 different sizes. We've got a small one and a large one, just obviously depending on your space and requirements. And then it would be built on site and then filled with good quality soil so that you can then get on with your planting.
Fantastic. That is a really good idea, isn't it? For a garden lover that's got everything. Yeah, I would love that myself. Yeah, absolutely. And can we find those gift vouchers on your website as well?
You just need to email us. We don't have a shop facility on my website, so it would just be a contact phone or email.
Yeah, no bother. Okay, so I'll link the email and website in the show notes today so everybody can find that really easily. So is there anything about working together as husband and wife, as a family, you'd like to add in that we've not covered already?
I think so. Yeah.
There was just one wee thing I was thinking of, I meant to mention earlier, is there any sort of stress when it comes to income? Because of course, when you're self-employed, your own business income can fluctuate. But if one's employed, you've got a steady income, one's self-employed, you can kind of fill in the gaps. Is that ever a pressure, or how do you manage that?
So it was a pressure at the beginning of the year. So our first year in business, our cash flow was really good. Our second year, the beginning of this year wasn't so much. We couldn't quite pinpoint why. So we kind of got digging we got speaking to our accountant, so she then started doing management reports for us every month, and then we looked at different areas where it could possibly be. So we've now kind of ironed it out, and we've improved our cash flow so that at the end of the month there's always money there for the wages. So
Brilliant.
it's just about, it was about, I don't know why, I think there was 3 things that happened at the one time, and that's why our cash flow then started kind of going back the way. There was 3 kind of big bills that we had to pay. But it was about learning to manage that, and also learning to manage your payments as well throughout the month. So now that we are kind of on top of that, it's kind of at a level pegging now that we're at the end of the month, there's always money for the wages. Yeah, that was
Brilliant.
that was quite stressful.
Yeah,
Can imagine.
I think that the money side of things, we don't panic about the money side of things. I mean, everybody needs money, everybody needs wages. But if we know we've got our books are busy enough, we know we're going to have enough money there. Because I think it's more we probably worry. I'm not saying worry, but about our guys and myself first, you know. So it's making sure that if we've got the work ahead of us, we know we can pay the wages, we know we can pay the bills. So it's that's the biggest thing, is making sure we get the work, because that keeps the business going.
Strong management on there, working closely with your accountant, making sure that doesn't become a stress, you know, that you would know in advance if there was anything to sort of be concerned about, keeping top of it.
Yeah.
Again, that's Natalie's part.
Yep. Did she just tell you when you need to work extra hours?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you so much for that, guys. That's just been it's such a lovely conversation, honestly. And like, I mean, I don't think I'd be expecting you to say that you're falling out all the time, because why would you be working together if that was the case anyway? So, and I know you guys, I know that that's not the case, but it was just so lovely to hear such a positive story, a family business, and you guys working so well together. And so yeah, thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Pleasure.